So I'd like to talk about co-creation.
Which all of them are.
Yes. And you and I have been co-creating since I first heard you when I was 16, when my aunt played audio tapes at the time of you. And at that time, when I was 16, I had two really big desires: to play professional hockey and to be in a true love relationship. And I watched a movie at the time called Princess Bride that had a guy named Andre the Giant in it, so there was tough stuff in it, but then emotional stuff in it, so I could watch it, yeah. And watching that movie just really gave that feeling of true love to me. Yeah, it resonated. But it took me 16 years to get out of my own way to actually line up with the feeling that I wanted to have. And when I did, 3 weeks later, I met my wife on the 2008 cruise.
And you might say, rather than 16 years to get out of my own way, during the 16 years, I blissfully made my way along, having a very good time on my way to that. In other words, that's another way of saying it that is more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I look back, actually, it was actually great. I wish I would have enjoyed it more, so it's a good example to enjoy it more, for sure. In 2010, I came to the cruise, and then my pro hockey question came up. So I talked about age. I had already gone past the age that I should be to play pro hockey. And you told me, it doesn't matter what you say now, you're always going to have that desire, so you either got to line up with it or have the pain from it. And you had me basically sit in a chair and visualize my already having created that and being okay with it and not having attachment to the outcome. And within a couple of years, I created an opportunity to play on a tournament team that plays with professionals, and at an older age than most, I was able to compete at a high level. So that felt great. And it fulfilled all my dreams and desires that I had the asking of over those years when I was watching pro hockey on TV and feeling like I wasn't there and missing out. So that was huge. 2013 came, sat down with you again, and said, okay, I want to have my own business. And you shared with me, well, do you want to create it from scratch, or do you want to get something that's already got some momentum and run with it? And day before we got here, I had a contract sitting in my email inbox with the partners that I attracted that offered and asked me to be the CEO of the company and also have a percentage of the company. Yeah, so that felt really great. At that same time, I also aligned with, I want to feel more powerful within myself. Got to sit in this seat just the other day, and
yeah, you're real greedy that way.
Yeah, have already started to feel that, and now things are lining up even faster because I'm not caring what people think as much as I used to, and
so,
I'm asking direct questions. And my direct question is, I want to co-create now with my wife, and I want to co-create children, and I know how to co-create with you, and how to talk about it and be selfish about it and just get in here and let everything else out. I want to feel that way with my wife.
All right, so this is an important distinction, isn't it? Because did you enjoy his evolution of desires? And you have some sense of him being in the receptive mode. See, this is the thing that we really want you to hear about all of this, because each of these things that he presented sounded like he just got an idea, which was when he set the goal, and then he set out to accomplish it. And we want to remind you and all of you who listened in that there was a lot of momentum before he even received the idea of something that he wanted. So you were never starting from scratch. You didn't start from scratch with the hockey thing. You didn't start from scratch with the relationship thing. You don't start from scratch with anything, in the sense that right now you're conjuring it all, because the vortex is full of the resources. Can you get a sense of that? It's so much further along the line than you know, that by the time you know that you want it, you're well along the way, which means it's a sure thing. It's a slam dunk. If you can form it into words, if you can identify that you want it, the momentum is huge, and the probability of a very positive and swift outcome is supreme. You follow that? Do you believe it? That's really what the things that you told us were about. So now, just settle for a little bit and feel something that you all do to some extent, which is, oh, well, yeah, Abraham, it's easy for me to create the things that I just want to create. But when I'm working with someone else who maybe has different interests or different intents, then it's harder. And the only reason is because you let what you think they want cause contradiction within your own energy. That's the only reason that it's harder for you sometimes to co-create in very real terms with someone else. So let's say that you're two people, and we're dramatizing this not because we're sensing this from the two of you, but because it's the basis of something that we really want you to understand. So you're two people, and let's say this one wants this and this one wants that, and they are two different things. What usually happens to both of you is this one isn't thinking only about what they want. Instead, they're worrying about what you want. And you aren't only thinking about what you want, you're worrying about what they want. So neither one of you is in alignment with what you want. And so neither one of you is in alignment with your receptive mode, and neither one of you is getting what you want, and you're both blaming the other one for the process. That is how co-creation usually goes in most relationships. Whether it's a personal relationship or a work relationship or a parent-child relationship, that's the way most of it goes. And can you feel what the common denominator is? I'm not minding my own business. I'm not tending to my own vibration, because after all, I love you and I care what you think. Esther used to say to Jerry, let's talk about this. I really want to know what you think. And Jerry would say, I don't think you want to know what I think. I think you want me to think what you think. And Esther would say, oh no, but that was exactly what was going on. Oh no, 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 no. So we want to ask you, if you could stop believing that you need your working partners to be your cooperative components. Dun, dun, dun. Hear it. If you could stop believing that you need the people that you are co-creating with to be cooperative components, because often they're not, and when they're not, you stick your nose in that bit, and then you're not a cooperative component to your own business because you are worried about them not being a cooperative component. You hear what we're saying? If you could just have your allegiance be to your idea, if you could just float the idea because it feels good to float it, not try to make things happen, just stay in alignment with what you want and why you want it. This powerful universe that knows all of the components, that knows all the pieces, will guide you to the perfect action and behavior and conversations to lead you to whatever you want. Harmony with another is a very good intention to hold, but not giving a rip about whether you're having harmony with the other is the path to harmony. Because when you care about the harmony that you're not getting, now you're not in harmony with yourself, now you've lost your power, and now it's their fault, and it can go on for quite a while before you get rid of them.
So is it any of my business to say that I'm very clear on what I want with children? I'd love 2 children. I'd love a daughter and a son, and I would love a daughter that has the same light in her eyes and the same look in her face that my wife has, and the energy, and to resonate that feeling. And I would love a son that has similar interests to mine.
What we want you to notice is how much pleasure that you're taking from the ideas of that, and we want that to be enough.
Okay.
Continue to take pleasure from this story that you're telling, and don't try any manipulation to bring it about. Just take pleasure in the same way that you dreamed yourself into hockey, and you dreamed yourself into this relationship, and you dreamed yourself in. It's just that light, soft approach that brings you everything that you want.
Okay.
The universe already knows. You didn't even have to put that into words. In fact, even the fact that you can put it into words means that the vortex has brought it up to a place where you can receive it when you're in the receptive mode. Don't try to talk anybody else into it, not even your wife.